In this great stage we call life, every one of us is performing a role inside something larger than ourselves, a sacred unfolding. And yet, how many of us actually catch the quiet signals being placed in front of us? How often do we miss the soft nudges of the divine, patiently steering us toward the blessings meant for us? Tonight, we are going to pull back the curtain on these signals and wake up to a truth that's been living inside each of us all along. Before we get into the 7 signs themselves, let's first get clear on what a blessing actually is. A blessing, dear friends, isn't some random stroke of luck or an accident of fate. It's an expression of your own divine nature, a mirror of your deepest beliefs and desires. It's simply what naturally happens when you bring yourself into alignment with the limitless power already living inside you. Let's begin with the first sign that a blessing is being prepared for you: unforeseen difficulty. You might ask, how could hardship possibly be a signal of something good coming? Here's where the real magic is hiding. Difficulties aren't roadblocks, they're openings for growth. They're the chisel the divine sculptor uses to carve you into the ideal vessel for what's coming. So when trouble shows up unannounced, resist the urge to grieve your circumstances. Instead, recognize that this hardship is preparing you, toughening you, tuning you to the exact frequency of the blessing headed your way. It's the fire that tests and refines your faith. Think about Joseph's story in Scripture. Sold out by his own brothers, thrown into prison for a crime he didn't commit. One trial stacked on another. And yet every single one of those trials was quietly preparing him to become the second most powerful man in all of Egypt, positioned to rescue his people from famine. So friends, when unexpected difficulty lands on your doorstep, don't despair. Instead, tell yourself, this hardship is shaping me for my blessing. I am being molded for something greater. Really feel the truth of those words settle into you, live from the ending already written. See yourself standing there, already victorious, already blessed. Now to the second sign, sharpened intuition. As a blessing draws near, you may notice your gut instincts growing louder and clearer. Hunches arrive out of nowhere. Sudden flashes of insight seem to come from some unnamed place. That, my listeners, is your inner divine nature speaking directly to you, pointing the way toward your blessing. This heightened sense isn't some rare gift handed to a select few. It's your birthright as a child of the divine. It's the voice of your higher self, communicating in the language of feeling and impression. To develop this gift, you have to learn how to listen. In the quiet spaces of your day, turn your focus inward. Notice the subtle pulls of intuition. Trust the wisdom rising up from within, because in doing exactly that, you're tuning yourself to the frequency of your blessing. Picture yourself as an old radio receiver. Just as you have to land on the right frequency to catch a particular station, you have to align your awareness with the frequency of your blessing to receive it. Your sharpened intuition is the dial that helps you find that exact spot. Get in the habit of living from this heightened state of awareness. Before making decisions, big or small, pause and ask yourself what your gut is telling you. Then act on that guidance boldly, trusting it's leading you where you need to go. The third sign is synchronicity, meaningful coincidence. Have you ever had a moment when everything just seemed to click into place? You thought of an old friend, and minutes later they called. You kept spotting the same sequence of numbers everywhere you turned. These aren't accidents, friends, these are synchronicities, coincidences loaded with meaning, confirming that you're falling into step with divine order. When you start noticing more of these moments stacking up, celebrate it. It means you're moving in harmony with the current of the universe. You're vibrating at the frequency that draws your blessing toward you. Think of these synchronicities as trail markers, confirming you're headed in the right direction. It's the universe's way of winking at you and saying, yes, keep going, you're getting closer. To fully receive this sign, you need to sharpen your awareness. Pay attention to the small stuff throughout your day. Watch for patterns, repeating themes, connections that seem too perfectly timed to be random. Because hidden inside those details is the language of the divine, speaking straight to you. And whenever you spot one of these moments, say thank you. Thank the universe out loud for the sign. Feel the joy and excitement of knowing you're perfectly lined up with your blessing. Because gratitude and joy make you an even stronger magnet for what you want. Now let's look at the fourth sign, a stretch of waiting or silence. This one might feel counterintuitive at first. Shouldn't a blessing arrive with noise and celebration? But remember, some of the deepest transformations happen quietly, out of sight. Picture a seed buried in the earth. For a long stretch, nothing seems to be happening on the surface. But underground, remarkable things are unfolding. The shell is splitting open, roots are spreading, strength is gathering for the moment it finally breaks through the soil. The same thing is true for you. When a season of quiet or waiting shows up, know that powerful forces are working beneath the surface of your own awareness. This is a season of gestation, of preparation. Your blessing is taking shape in the unseen before it ever appears in your physical world. During this stretch, holding on to your faith matters more than ever. Don't let doubt or impatience creep in and take root. Instead, use this quiet season to strengthen your connection to your inner self. Meditate, pray, sit in quiet contemplation. Feel the peace of knowing your blessing already belongs to you in the spiritual dimension. Tell yourself, in this stillness, my blessing is taking form. I am at peace, trusting that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. Live from that calm assurance and watch your outer world slowly start reflecting that same peace back at you. The fifth sign is heightened contrast, sharper highs and lows. As you get closer to your blessing, you might notice the contrasts in your life growing more intense. The good moments feel higher, the hard moments feel lower. This heightened polarity isn't a warning sign, quite the opposite. It's clear evidence that a major shift is right on the horizon. Contrast serves a real purpose on this journey. It sharpens what you actually want, clarifies your focus, and lights a fire under your will to change. When you hit a moment of stark contrast, the universe is essentially asking you, is this really what you want, or would you rather have something different? In these intense moments, your job is to use your imagination, the God-given power inside you, to focus on what you do want, not what you're trying to avoid. Use that contrast as a launching pad, propelling you into a vivid mental scene of the state you actually desire. If you're wrestling with money problems, for instance, let that contrast fuel a rich, detailed vision of financial abundance. Feel the relief, the joy, the security of having more than enough. Live from that state right now, understanding that this act of imagination is the spark igniting your blessing. Remember, the outer world is nothing more than your consciousness taking visible form. Every time you choose to focus on your desired state, no matter what's currently in front of you, you're literally reshaping your reality from the inside out. Now to the sixth sign, sudden flashes of inspiration. As your blessing draws closer, you might find yourself flooded with new ideas or sudden creative bursts. These aren't stray thoughts, dear listeners. These are messages from your higher self, guiding you steadily toward your blessing. This inspiration might arrive as the solution to a problem you've been stuck on for years, a fresh creative idea for your work, or sudden clarity about the purpose of your life. Treat these gifts with reverence when they arrive. They're precious seeds of the blessing headed your way. But remember, inspiration without follow-through is nothing more than daydreaming. When these ideas show up, act on them right away. Write them down, say them out loud, take whatever step you can to bring them into physical form. In doing that, you're co-creating alongside the divine, actively participating in bringing your blessing into being. Practice staying open and receptive to this kind of inspiration. Before bed at night, or right as you wake, affirm, I am open and receptive to divine inspiration. Brilliant ideas flow to me with ease. Then throughout your day, stay alert for the whisper of inspiration. Trust that every inspired thought is moving you one step closer to your blessing. And now the seventh and final sign that a blessing is prepared for you, a deep settled sense of calm certainty. This one might be the most subtle of all seven, and also the most powerful. As your blessing gets closer, you may notice a profound sense of peace settling in, a quiet knowing that everything is going to be fine. This isn't a desperate, white-knuckled hope that things will somehow work out. It's a deep, unshakable certainty that your blessing already belongs to you. This calm certainty is the true mark of real faith. It's the state of consciousness capable of moving mountains and parting seas. When you're resting in this state, you're vibrating in perfect harmony with what you want, letting it flow into your life with effortless ease. To build this calm certainty, you have to release every trace of anxiety, doubt, and fear about what's ahead. Let go of needing to know the how and the when. Instead, rest in the absolute knowledge that what's meant for you cannot pass you by. Practice living from this calm, certain state. When doubt creeps in, gently guide your attention back to that inner knowing. Feel the peace of trusting the perfect unfolding of your own life, because in that state of trust, you become a clear channel for your blessing to come through. Now, dear friends, having walked through these 7 signs, understand that they may not show up in any particular order. You might experience all of them, or just a few. What matters most is staying aware, staying attuned to the subtle guidance moving around you. But even more important than that, I want you to grasp this deeper truth. You don't have to wait for any of these signs before you can receive your blessing. Because the greatest sign of all, the most powerful indicator that you're ready, is your own assumption of the state of already being blessed. When you assume the feeling of your wish already fulfilled, when you live from the ending as though your desire is already a settled fact, you're standing in the highest possible state of receptivity. In that moment, you are already blessed. So I say to you, don't wait around for signs. Be the sign yourself. Be the living proof of your own answered prayer. Because your consciousness is the only reality there is. And whatever you assume to be true in your imagination has no choice but to eventually express itself in your outer world. Picture right now that your desired blessing already belongs to you. Feel the joy, the gratitude, the fulfillment that comes with it being real. Let that feeling soak into every cell of your body. Breathe it in until you become one with it. As you move through your days, hold on to this feeling. Let it shape your thoughts, your words, your actions. Because in doing that, you're living from the end, and the end must always produce the means to get there. Your outer world has no other option but to reorganize itself to match what you're assuming on the inside. Remember, friends, time is only a construct of the mortal mind. In the realm of spirit, where all creation actually happens, there's only the eternal now. Your blessing isn't waiting for you somewhere off in the distant future. It's a present reality, ready to be accepted and lived from right now. So I'm urging you, stop saying, I will be blessed. Say instead, I am blessed. Feel the truth in those words. Let them sink down deep into your subconscious mind. Your subconscious doesn't argue with you. It simply accepts whatever you impress upon it as fact, and then works tirelessly to bring that fact into form. Now, some of you might be thinking, but what if I don't feel blessed right now? What if my current situation seems to contradict the very blessing I'm asking for? To that I say, your circumstances don't define you. They're simply the fruit of assumptions you held in the past. Change the assumption, and you change the world that follows. If you're struggling to feel blessed while staring at evidence that says otherwise, I want to offer you a simple but powerful practice. Each night, as you lie down to sleep, mentally walk back through the events of your day. But don't replay them exactly as they happened. Revise them instead. See them unfolding exactly the way you would have wanted. If you had a tense exchange with someone, replay that moment in your mind, but this time watch it play out with harmony instead. If you hit a financial setback, revise the memory into an unexpected windfall. Whatever you want to change, change it first inside your own imagination. As you drift off to sleep in this revised state, you're impressing these new assumptions directly onto your subconscious. And remember, your subconscious is the architect building your tomorrow. Whatever you plant there tonight, it will express in your outer world tomorrow. This practice of revision isn't about denying your reality or running from it. It's about exercising the God-given power you already have to choose the state you want to occupy. Because in truth, every single moment is a fresh beginning, a new chance to line yourself up with the blessing you're after. As you keep practicing living from the end, revising your day each night, and holding on to the feeling of being blessed, you'll start noticing shifts in your outer world. These shifts might feel small at first, a change in someone's attitude toward you, an unexpected opportunity, a solution to a problem that once looked impossible. Notice these changes, however small, and meet them with gratitude. They're confirmation that your new assumption is taking root, that your blessing is moving out of imagination and into physical form. And as you notice this happening, let it feed your faith. Let it deepen your conviction that whatever you've imagined must eventually come to pass. This is simply the law of your own being. Whatever you believe and feel as true has no choice but to take shape in your world. Now, friends, I want to address a question that always comes up around this teaching. People ask, but what about God's will? Shouldn't we submit to what God wants instead of pushing our own desires forward? To that I say, your desire is God's desire. The longing you feel for your blessing is the divine stirring inside you, seeking a way to express itself through you. When you imagine your desires fulfilled and let yourself feel that reality, you're not working against God's will. You're aligning with it in the deepest, truest sense possible. Because here's the thing, God's will isn't some external force. It isn't a distant cosmic script you have to decode and obey. God's will is your will, whenever you're standing in harmony with your own divine nature. It's the creative impulse flowing through you, as you. So when you act as though you're already blessed, when you live from the state of your wish already fulfilled, you're in perfect step with God's will. You're allowing the divine to express itself through you in all its fullness and abundance. Understand this, friends. You're not some powerless pawn at the mercy of a fickle God. You're an individual expression of the divine itself. Your imagination is God in motion. When you use it lovingly and with intention, you're fulfilling your highest purpose as a co-creator alongside the divine. As we near the close of tonight's discussion, I want to stress one crucial point. Living from the end, assuming the state of being blessed, isn't something you do once and forget. It's a way of life. It calls for persistence, for faith, and above all, for love. Love is the highest and most powerful vibration in existence. When you approach your blessing with love, love for yourself, love for others, love for life itself, you align with the very essence of creation. So as you leave here tonight carrying these 7 signs with you, remember this above everything else. The surest sign of all, the clearest indication you're ready for your blessing, is your own loving assumption of the state of already being blessed. Live from that state. Breathe it in, embody it, become it. Let every thought, every word, every action rise up out of that assumption. Because in doing so, you set powerful forces in motion, reshaping your world to match the vision you carry within. And understand this, friends, your blessing was never something separate from you. It isn't a prize to chase down or an object to acquire. Your blessing is a state to be assumed, a consciousness to be embodied. And as you take on that state fully, you realize the truth. You are the blessing you've been searching for. To close, I invite you to take a moment right now and feel the truth of your own blessed state. Close your eyes if you'd like, and let yourself sink into the feeling of being blessed beyond measure. Feel the gratitude, the joy, the love that walks alongside that state. Carry this feeling with you as you go from here. Let it color every interaction, every decision you make. Because in doing exactly that, you're living as the blessed being you truly already are, and your outer world has no choice but to bend to that inner truth. Go forward, friends, knowing you are blessed, you are loved, you are divine. The power to bring your heart's desires into being lives inside you right now. Use it with wisdom, use it with love, and watch in wonder as your life becomes a living proof of the endless blessings waiting for anyone brave enough to imagine and believe. Thank you, and may your imagination lead you to everything your heart has been longing for.